Hi guys. Okay, this is a little bit more nerve-wracking than I thought. Um, but we're gonna try to I don't know where to look. Am I looking, should I look up there or down here? I think I'm supposed to look up here. Hopefully that's better. We're just gonna play with makeup. I have a doctor's appointment in a few hours. And I thought I would just get on camera. I haven't done this in a really long time. I've actually only done it like twice before. But I wanted just to play with some makeup, some newer things that I got, and at the same time as I'm applying things, just share some tips and tricks that I think might be helpful. I'm not a makeup artist, but I love makeup and I've been playing with makeup for a really long time, and I actually work at Sephora as a beauty advisor. So I'm not saying that I am a pro, but I am exposed to a lot of makeup and new releases and things like that. So I'm going to stop rambling now, and we're going to just start applying makeup. So I have all my skincare, my sunscreen. I'm just going to go in with the Hollywood Flawless filter to bring some shine into my face. And how has everyone been? I have been sort of, I don't know, I think for the last 6 months, I've been MIA. I've been on and off. I'm sorry if I'm making a lot of noise. My brushes are everywhere, and the one I'm looking for, I can't find. I wanted to show you this brush. I've been wanting to get it every single year. The one that the Cancer Foundation does with It Cosmetics every single year. It's called that what do you call it? Love Me something brush. Oh, here it is. This one. They kind of change it slightly every year, but this year it has these little things that make that sound, which I love. So I just wanted to show it to you guys. I finally got my hands on it this year because usually they sell out very quickly. But it's nice and dense and soft. Their brushes, the quality of their brushes is definitely really good. So are the Sephora brushes. They will last you forever. But there's also a lot of drugstore brushes that are just as good. So okay, what goes next? Yes, foundation. So I thought we would try the uh the latest one from Charlotte Tilbury, which I've kind of made a dent on it somewhat. But I also wanted to try this thing from Maybelline that I just picked up. Looks like this. It says it's a Perfector 4-in-1. It's instant age rewind, so from that line, and it's supposed to like blur the pores. It acts as like a primer, concealer, a BB cream, a base. So you can use it however you want. I did try it before on its own, and I did like it. It reminds me a lot of this sunscreen that does have, it's a tinted sunscreen, and it has like that moussey consistency to it that kind of sits so nicely on the skin, and it does blur the pores. Like I have this on right now, and my skin looks really even. Trust me, like I have a lot of like dark spots here, melasma, whatever, and you can't see it as much because I went in with this before. But I still wanted to play with this on camera, so I think I'm just gonna mix the two. I have this little thing, mixed dish, whatever they're called. I got it on Amazon for like $5. This shade that I got is light medium, and it's too light for me. They only came out with like four, I think, because it's meant to be more of like supplementary product that's not meant to, I think, go necessarily on its own, although you can if you want to. So I'm just gonna put some of the Charlotte on there and mix it. And then what I usually do is take like the tip of a thingy And blah, blah. Actually, you know what? Let me add something else that I have been loving adding in, and it has such a delicious scent too. It's from Saie. It's their. Every time I have to read something, guys, I gotta plop on the glasses. I'm sorry, I know that's annoying, but this is called, and I will list all the products in the description box. But it's this one's Starglow, so it's basically like a liquid illuminator, but I like it because it's not too intense. It's very light, and you can apply it as a primer. You can apply it on its own. It goes on beautifully, but I like mixing it with my foundation. I don't know why. Even though I didn't really need much glow because I've already applied the Charlotte, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh my god, I love that scent. I don't know what it is about that scent that I love so much. I think this is maybe going on a little light, but we can fix that later on with bronzer. It's easier when it turns out to go from lighter to dark than it is to go from, like if you put a foundation that's too dark, even though you can lighten it up by using a really light um concealer and then kind of blend it in, use that to lighten it up. But I prefer to, if anything, I rather go on the light side and then use the bronzer to darken it. All right, let's see. Let me show off my brush again. Boop, 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 boop. We are going to ignore all my gray hair, as always. It's like if I were to follow the schedule of my gray hair, like I would live at the salon. I would be there every single week. And yeah, it's not gonna happen. I'm not rich. Neither do I have the time. But oh yeah, this is going on nicely. And I like light coverage. So when you apply it with a brush, you're going to get more coverage. If you want to lighten it up, you go in with the damp sponge, and that's going to soak up, the extra product. And I have found that even the way you tap it, I happen to be very heavy-handed. I'm a lefty, and I think we're like known to be heavy-handed. So for me, it takes a conscious effort to be like, okay, Nancy, just tap it. Because if I press too hard, then I take away too much product, and we're not trying to do that. Because that level of coverage, I'm comfortable with right now. And you can use this sponge dry, which most people don't, but you can. The way I would use it dry is for concealer. If you want to have extra coverage on your concealer, go in with this tip on a dry sponge, and it will like leave your concealer intact. It will not remove any coverage. It's going to keep it nice. If it's a medium, medium to full, or if it's a full coverage concealer, it'll stay that way. Whereas if you don't want it to be so heavy, then go in with a damp sponge. And sometimes if the sponge has dried up and I want less coverage, I'll take like a setting spray and re-wet it just so I can remove more coverage. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, for concealer, I've been liking this one from Revlon. It's the Candid. It says new, but it's been out for a while. This is supposed to have antioxidant properties, so that makes me feel good. Has a mild scent. Now, I always go here and make sure I put a light concealer in that area because I have very deep nasal labial folds. And by doing this, I am hoping to kind of bring that out and make that dent not as pronounced. I mean, it's not a perfect science. It doesn't work 100%, but it helps because that's the whole point of playing with like darker versus lighter. You're creating shadows, and your dark brings things back, light brings things forward. Um, before I'm gonna let it sit for a while, because that's another trick. If you give it a couple of seconds and let it dry, you're gonna get more coverage out of it that way. And this one I think claims to be a solid medium coverage. I really like it. I picked this up, this Lawless Sorbet, the filler. I think that's what it says. And I'm gonna put it on just so that my lips can start getting treated. I usually do this at the beginning, but I forgot. But that way the lips can start filling up. If I think this is a plumping lip gloss. Yes, plumping, smoothing, nourishing. So hopefully, even though I don't need like the plumping because I want my lips to be bigger necessarily, but I like to use something like this because hopefully it'll help fill those lines that come with age. If you're someone around my age, I'm 56. If you're around my age, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, where was I going next? Oh, I'm going to use this little brush, which is dry, and I'm going to use it for under the eyes to see if I maintain that coverage under there. And I like using a sponge under my eyes because I feel like the application is more flawless. I do have a really nice brush from Sephora that is also really nice for that. I'll show you. It's number 50. It's really popular, number 56. Jessica Braun, I think, got a lot of us hooked on this brush. So see, you can also keep a lot of coverage by using a brush. Actually, this one has more coverage, but this is a dry sponge, so the idea was the same. A lot of people go in with a brush first and then just go back in with a sponge. And that looks like enough coverage, like not too much, so I'm not going to go in with the beauty blender and remove any. I'm just going to go ahead and finish the rest. We place something light here because in my case, I have a weak chin. I have a chin that, goes back. So by placing something light here, I'm hoping to bring it out. I mean, it's not going to perform miracles. I remember when I had a nose job many, many years ago, and one of the things the surgeon recommended was for me to have a chin implant because to make the face like harmonious because it's uneven. My chin is a weak chin. It's too small. And I almost did go for it, and I'm kind of glad I did it now. I never regretted my nose job, but I feel like something like that here, that would have been like, I don't know, more invasive because they implant something that's gonna, whereas a nose job, I had a bone here and my nose would like tilt down. And so they just, shaved the bone and lifted this up. And I was really happy with the results. So I've never regretted that. But I think the chin implant, I think I would have. But I know nowadays people get like implants here, and I don't know. I'm not afraid, nor am I against like cosmetic surgery. God knows, I'm not. But it's expensive. So for those of us that it's not an option financially, like um, try to do as much as I can from home in terms of like my skincare routine. And I use a lot of devices. I use high frequency microcurrent, um, red light, blue light. What else do I use? Oh, for the eyes here, I have the Nira, which is laser. It's just I'm all about it. I love, love, love skincare. This is the powder from Pat McGrath. It's a subliminal. This thing just disappeared. I mean, this powder is so expensive. I cannot believe the quality of this. I mean, no shade to you, Pat, but I'm sorry. For the price, that thing should not have. And I've only had it for not even a year. So I can't tell you the exact name because it's been wiped off. But this is the thinnest, silkiest powder that I have ever felt. And it's perfect for under the eyes because obviously you want something really light under there so it doesn't look cakey, especially someone like myself who has very dry skin. So that's done. Now let's move on to brows. I got these two, what are they called? Paint pods? No, they're not paint pods. From Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Dipbrow Pomade. Pomade? I don't know why I drew a blank on words. Like at one point I know them, and then all of a sudden a different day, don't know how to pronounce them. Don't know what they're called. But anyway, Dipbrow Pomade. And I got soft brown and taupe. And I feel like neither one is perfect. The taupe is like too cool tone, so my brows look completely fake. And I feel like this brown one looks dark, but we're going to use it anyway. Because I bought it and I want to use it. Make it work. So usually it is recommended that you do the darker colors from the second part out and sort of go lighter on the inner part of the brow to make it look more natural. This gives you so much control. See how sharp I was able to make that? That's what I like about using pomades. You just have more control. And this, is setting the brow at the same time. So you're killing two birds with one stone. Like, I don't need a lot in the center there. Gosh, I don't even know if you guys are able to see me up close. I'm like forgetting that this is for you guys. Can you see that? Yeah. I think. Brows are always so unpredictable. Like one day they'll come out perfect and they look, like they're best friends, they're twins, they look identical. Other days they come out and they look like they're not even far related cousins. They're like completely different. They have like a mind of their own. So I try not to spend too much time on them anyway because I just don't have patience. I really don't. And the older I get, the worse my patience. I don't know. I'm just telling on myself here today. What's going on? All right, let me just clean this up a bit. Also, if I'm brushing it with the wrong side, if you find that the color is too dark, what you can do is take a little bit of powder and just tap over it, and it'll lighten it up immediately. So let me just show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but it tones it down. It definitely tones it down. So it's not as loud. Next, I finally picked up the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pod, which is an eyeshadow base. This thing has been around for, I don't know, forever. And I had always wanted it, but never had gotten my hands on it until last week. And so I've been using it nonstop. And I think this is a good color for me because obviously you want to go lighter because you want the eyeshadow colors to pop. So if you're around my skin tone, soft ochre is the one I have. And so it might work for you as well. I find this formula is a little bit drying, so I find that blending it with your finger works best. Not also best, but faster. And as much as I love playing with makeup, like I'm not trying to spend all day. Plus, I have an appointment anyway. So, what's been going on, guys? How have you been? I um I went to San Diego with my son to celebrate his 21st birthday, and it was so nice to go visit my middle daughter, my middle child, who's 20. She's 22. I could barely remember my own age. Anyway, we went to visit her, and my son had never been there. We took some beautiful pictures. The sunset over there is just like on a whole other level. If you want to see, I mean, it was so perfect, the pictures that we took with the sunset, that it looked fake. It was just so beautiful. It was like, created for like a poster. It was just so beautiful. And if you want to check it out, I have the link to my Instagram in the description box if you happen to want to take a peek. The goal is that if she does decide to stay and live there, I will probably end up following as soon as my son is done with college, because he goes to school here in New Jersey. So I'm not making any plans of moving until he's done. And then who knows? We may all just pick up and start in a whole new city. Nice fresh start, which we all could use. What else? I don't know. I don't know what to talk about when I do these things. I'm not used to talking about myself. It's kind of awkward. I wanted to play with this new um palette that I got. It's from Wonder Beauty. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like Wonder Beauty makes the best quality eyeshadow. Like the quality of their shimmers, their mattes, their satins, it's just a whole other level. And I don't think they get enough credit for that. But I have like the mini version of this here, and came across the full size. This is the mini, and I've hit pan because I love that shade so much. And so saw this on BoxyCharm, on Boxy, like pop up, whatever they do, and I had to grab it because their quality is just, it's amazing. And they're like one of those brands that's not considered, at least not in my mind. They're not really drugstore, but they're not really high end either. I mean, they're not sold at Sephora. Then again, they're not sold at Ulta either. Are they? I'm not sure. Anyway, with this shirt that I'm wearing, this sweater, I don't know what to create with this. Like maybe it's hard to, I would have to do like a sort of gold. It doesn't matter. It's just makeup. We're just going to play with it. I just want to play with this new palette, and trying to match it to your clothes is not always the best thing to do. So I'm just taking this one here that's called Sunkissed as the color to just throw in the crease. In this case here, you could, if you don't have a color that's like right in the middle, you could use your bronzer and use that to go on the crease. Usually this is like the standard application, that most people use when it comes to eyeshadow, but you don't have to. It's just one of the easier ways of going about it, I think. You know what? That base is looking kind of like dry. I don't know about that matte Paintpod. I'm not really too impressed with it. Hmm. Anyway, for those of you that are beginners out there, my sister always asks me questions about makeup and skincare. And then, when I speak to her, I realize that there are people out there that really, really don't have like even the basic knowledge and how I don't address those things and maybe I need to make a change in my channel and kind of backtrack and maybe do more videos where I'm catering more to those types of people that really need a lot of guidance as far as like skincare and like at least just like the basics um to just give you some information so that you feel more confident because the market is saturated with both makeup and skincare and I can, like my sister was telling me, that it's overwhelming. Like she'll try to like start a routine and then she goes to the store and by the time she sees all this stuff she gets overwhelmed and she just walks out, and I can totally understand. For me, it doesn't feel that way because I've been into skincare and makeup for a long time, and for me it's fun. It's fun to try new things, to learn about ingredients, and plus working at Sephora now, I am exposed to a lot of that. So for me it's not overwhelming, but I could see how for someone who just wants to get the minimum down, like they just want a simple skincare routine, they just want to just some makeup that makes them look put together without going into all these crazy steps. So if that's something that you guys feel, by the way, I'm taking this dark one and I'm just going to darken the outer corner a little bit. This brush here I'm using is from Alamar Cosmetics. They make the cutest brushes, but also really, really good quality. I would recommend them. They have several sets for eyes that I really, really like. So normally you place the darker shadow from here out. Like you don't bring it in, you kind of keep it. And this, what this does is create some dimension like that. And then usually then in the inner part, you would go in with either a light shimmer, but it can be a light matte also. It doesn't have to be shimmer. I know some women, mature women like myself, sometimes shy away from shimmers, but I mean I love shimmers. Not so much glitter because glitter is like it's you know I think it's more appropriate for younger people, but I do love my shimmers, and it's just makeup. It washes off. Like this is supposed, for me it's just like an outlet, like for me to just, some days like I'm having a shitty day and I feel like lethargic and I have no motivation and I don't want to do anything. I'll just sit in front of my vanity and I'll start playing with makeup and I'll start practicing, because the only way we get better at something is by practicing, right? And then I'll just start playing and trying to create new looks and then wash it off, and then I feel better afterwards. I mean, I know it's not for everyone. Not everyone loves makeup the same way, obviously. At this point, I would take a clean brush and then blend the edges up here. So let me make sure I get a clean brush. And by the way, there's these little things that you could get at TJ Maxx anywhere for like $5. They're called Color Switch, and you can just rub the the brush and it makes it completely clean. So here I just stay on the edges and try to blend those edges up so that it kind of looks like a radiant effect. So you don't see that like sharp distinction there, where the shadow stops. And so you just kind of stay on the edges and sometimes do like little circles like that, and that helps bring it up. I have like a hooded eye, and of course at my age, the eye starts everything starts dropping. I do have some space here, like up here, so I try to use that real estate as much as I can. So I do bring my transition color. I do bring it quite high, only because I don't have a lot of lid space to work with. Because when I open my eyes, like it's pretty much, I mean, it kind of, you can't see it as much. And that's what happens with hooded eyes, which is fine. Some people just have hooded eyes, other people don't. In my case, I have them because it came with age, but that's fine. We just kind of, we adapt. We learn how to apply makeup in a different way. And that's it, because resisting it and getting upset about it does absolutely nothing. Let's see. This is just a cigarette. Not cigarette. It's vape, whatever. Nothing illegal. What do I want to do next? Let's go to bronzer. My latest. Actually, I still didn't finish. We got to do something on the lid. So we have these shimmers here. Like I am so bad at describing. I'm not gonna try. I think I'm gonna take this one here. That's like a beautiful golden, light golden color. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the inner part there where I don't have any eyeshadow, where I left it kind of. And this look is not gonna match my shirt. We've given up on that. If you didn't know, I gave up on that. So I'm gonna just tap it. I don't want to swipe it, because when you swipe, you tend to kind of make it more intense. And I just want a little bit of shimmer. I don't want too much. Some people use it with their fingers, and then with that, you get even more payoff. And so I avoid using a finger. I try to just tap, tap, tap a little bit with this is a little flat shader brush. And again, I do the same on the other side. And I bring it up to what my imaginary, what is it? See, because I have my crease is right here, but I bring it higher than that. My imaginary crease is up here because my eyes are so hooded. So I apply eyeshadow as if they weren't. And even that came out like two. This one has more than this one, right? Let's put a little more. At least on here on camera, it's looking. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Let's finish the eyes by going on the lower lash line. I know a lot of people, I think, skip the lower lash line, but I just love, to me, like an eye look is not complete without doing something. And usually you just match what you did at the top. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start with this one, which was my transition. I'm going to take a brush that's like flat, but it is fluffy at the same time. And just kind of brush it. Looking up helps. If this is like new to you and feels uncomfortable, place it and then look up. Try not to look at the brush, because if you look at the brush, you're always going to be trying to fight it. Especially with the tight lining that we're going to do in a little bit with the pencil. With a pencil. What was that? My accent comes out sometimes. It also has a mind of its own. Some of you will be saying, hello, you have an accent all the time, Nancy? Yeah, but that too, but I mean like heavy, heavy. Okay, so once I do the all across the lower lash line, that medium color, right, that I used for the transition, I go in and take the darker one, the one that we use just for the outer part, and you do the same. You can just keep it in the outer part. I usually try to use something thinner because you don't want it to be too much. Um, you don't want it to be like too wide because then what ends up happening is like that could droop the eye down. And in mature makeup, you want to lift, lift, lift. That is the word we live by. I'm going to use the same because I couldn't find the other one. So I'm just going to focus it on the outer and now bring it further than that. And that gives the eye. See how it gives us some definition? Same thing. You tap, remove the excess. Always do that. Otherwise, you're going to have things falling down your face and ruining your concealer. I mean, a lot of people do their eyes first for that reason. Oh, and here, if you make a mistake and you have shadow going too far, find a color of shadow that's similar to your skin tone. Like in this case, this one, it's a matte. It has to be matte. It's a nice, like, it looks like my skin tone. I can just go in and fix and erase what I want to erase with powder. So that's one trick. And sometimes if you carry the shadow too high and then you look back and you're like, "Oh my god, no." Again, find a powder that's your skin tone and go in with a brush and apply it until you bring it down to a level where you're comfortable. Hopefully that made sense. Okay. Let's continue on. We'll move on to the face now. This cream bronzer from Saie, I always forget. I'm supposed to know this because at Sephora they sell this product and I don't know. I should know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Saie. It's a cream bronzer and it's not a dewy one. I happen to like bronzers that are matte because I have enlarged pores, and when you add like too much glow to that area, then it kind of brings out the pores. Pronunci- pronunciates them. It accentuates them. So also the placement. I know some people like back in the day. I think the contour trend was like people would put this all the way down here. I don't do that, but I mean, if you do, it's what works for you. Obviously, everyone has different, shape, and not one thing works for everyone. But I place it at the top of my cheekbones, and I just tap, tap, tap until I have the desired. Like on camera, you can't even see it, and I hope the camera is not super dirty. The last time I did one of these, everything was so blurry you could barely see anything. But that video, ironically enough, ended up getting more views than all the other videos that I put a lot of effort into, which is why I kind of stopped trying so hard because I'm sorry. I just did because it's hard when you invest tons of hours in editing, filming, setting up. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it that people don't realize, and it's very time consuming. And then you put all this effort in and then you post a video and then you get, crickets. So I think I've said this before, and that's why I've kind of been discouraged. And so I upload less, but I'm still passionate about the same thing. Um, and I'm still learning behind the scenes. I'm getting more involved now that I'm full time at Sephora. There's some education that's involved, especially with skincare, which I love. And I think I'm going to be down the road. I'm going to be one of those, when you go onto their website and you get an assistant that comes up to help you if you have any questions. I think I'm going to ultimately be doing that. And so working from home, which is kind of neat. I get to help people. I mean, I do prefer helping people online. I love working with clients and like helping them find the correct foundation, the right shade. And it's just so rewarding when when you are able to help someone just feel more beautiful or learn like the techniques and the products that work for them in order for them to like experience more confidence and I don't know. It's just a really rewarding feeling, and I do enjoy it, and I'm very grateful that I had started working there only as seasonal, and they decided to keep me. So I'm very grateful for that. And the bronzer, you cannot see it all. I think I needed a darker shade. I also got some sun when I in San Diego. I went to the beach once, and of course, us brown girls don't need much sun to get like super dark. And I don't mean that in a way bragging whatsoever. I wish it wasn't the case because we are so much more prone to hyperpigmentation and discoloration and all these things that I have, all these dark spots. That's where it comes from, because we produce more melanin at a faster rate. African American and Latinas, we are blessed with that. So I'm always very careful with how much time I spend in the sun, and I that is one of the times when I'm outdoors, like if I'm in a park or at the beach, where I religiously apply sunscreen every 2 hours. When I'm home, I don't. I only put it in the morning. I don't do that every 2 hours. I mean, come on, that's not realistic. But if I'm outdoors, believe you me, I am on top of that. This is a palette. I don't think I've used it before. It's from Blink Glow Getter Face Palette. And they're selling Blink now at Sephora, although at my store they only have their tubing mascara, which I have gone through one of them and I have like three backups already because it's the only mascara that does not transfer on me. I have tried, guys, I've tried everything. Even baking with powder, putting powder down here, tons of it, even though I shouldn't because I have really dry skin and mature eyes. So, right there, that's like no bueno. But to this tubing mascara right here, it's the only thing. And I know, and I might have mentioned this before, Kathleen Lights would always say that the only mascara that wouldn't transfer on her was a tubing mascara, but she uses it's one that you can only get online. I can't think of the name, but it's kind of pricey. Although this one's not so cheap, but it's not as expensive as the one that she always uses. Maybe the name will come to me later. Let me just set my face. What are we gonna use today? Sorry. Let's use this one from Colourpop Pretty Filter. This is a nice dewy, a nice dewy one. Oh my god, and it smells like coconut and it smells like heaven. So another trick that I do, and I've mentioned this tons of times, I spray my face and then I curl my lashes because having them a little bit damp helps hold the curl a little more, especially if you use a spray like the Urban Decay All Nighter. That stuff is like hairspray, in terms of like it'll really hold it. So if you were to use that, you get to have even more hold. All right, this video, oh my god, is this 44 minutes I've been on? Holy moly. I need to shut up. I need to wrap this up. All right. See, I would cut this part out right now if I could edit, but this is live. So this is the mascara. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm not going to keep you guys here forever. We're going to just do the lips real quick. I'm going to show you. My lip liners here. My new acquisitions, what are they? One from that I love from Makeup by Mario. This one is in the shade, I'll list it down below, but these you sharpen and they have that little brush on the end, which is great. If you get out of the line, you put a little bit of foundation, whatever, and then just kind of wipe it. So I love this liner. And this other little lipstick, which is like a satin finish. It's from Kaja. Cute little thing. It's a perfect nude for my skin tone. You don't need much. A little bit and it spreads. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here because the timer says 45 minutes and that's way too long. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you're playing with makeup on your end. Remember, it washes off. It's just fun. Experiment, play with colors. It's spring, it's summer. Use some of those fun colors. Not like this. This was not fun today, but I love my purples and my pinks. And so the next look will be something really fun like that. So hope to see you on the next one and we can hang out together again. Have a great day. Stay safe. Be well. Bye-bye.